Hey guys, it's Rob. I'm here to do a video review for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I saw it yesterday with pretty much everyone from the blog and some of our other friends too, but yeah, it was mostly people from the blog. Yeah, I'm just going to dive right in. Overall kind of impressions was I really enjoyed it. So let's just start with kind of the story and the writing of it. The writing was quite good. It was, I would say on par for with everything else they've done so far. Clever enough lines. There was a little bit of humor thrown in, but of course, you need to know going into this that this is not going to be as humorous as, say, Half-Blood Prince, because there are people dying everywhere, and this is kind of this most serious and darkest of all the movies. I would say you see characters that you've kind of known throughout the whole thing, and they are going to be dropping left, right, center, up, and down. The actual story itself, did it kind of stick true to the novel? For most part it did. They covered, I would say, most of the major plot points of the novel, hitting on, I don't want to give too much away because you maybe have not read the book or seen the movie, but covering, the major points about destroying the Horcruxes and the battle and the castle and all those sort of things. What they did have to do is they did have to kind of cut down some of the ways that things are figured out. So, as Harry's looking for a Horcrux, he's trying to figure out where might it be or how might they get there. They kind of cut some of that stuff out, but really, you can't really complain about that because this is a movie and those books are incredibly long. And if you actually have seen someone reading them, man, it takes hours and hours of time. So there's just no way they can do that. The one thing that they did do with the story that I wasn't a particularly fan of is that Harry somehow has developed this, I guess you call it a Horcrux sense, for lack of a better word. In the books, they have to kind of deduce where it might be. They think, okay, Voldemort's going to probably use Horcruxes from founders of Hogwarts. So they think, okay, where might these be? Here, though, in this book, it's almost like once he walks into the room with a Horcrux, he kind of knows. He has this weird Horcrux sense because of stuff in the book, because he's kind of a Horcrux. Spoiler. Yeah, so that was kind of weird. Not a particular fan of that, but I mean, what can you do? It helped to really speed the film along, because if they hadn't, it would have taken forever as they kind of deduce all these things about Horcruxes. They had to speed along a little bit Snape's memories. I understand that, though, and I think they did a reasonable job of doing that. Yeah, the story was good, so I would probably give the story maybe a 7 out of 10 for that aspect of it. Moving on to the acting. The acting was as solid as it's been for the rest of the films. I mean, all three of them, being Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and of course Daniel Radcliffe, are good. They've developed over the time. Obviously, they've been so long, you believe they are who they are. But I mean, the biggest thing when it comes to the acting with Harry Potter films is that you really have this who's who cast of British actors. I mean, most of the well-known British actors are in that film, with the exception of maybe like Patrick Stewart and Hugh Laurie or something. But I mean, like they're in there, so you have top quality acting to begin with. I mean, and again, you're going to Harry Potter not necessarily to see that Academy Award winning acting, but they did their characters fine. They stick with their characters. I mean, we really get to see probably more of Voldemort than we've seen in any other film. So that was really good to see, and that acting was top notch, and seeing Snape and Harry find out about Snape was also quite good. Another thing that I found with the acting that was well done was that it wasn't too over emotional. So particularly at a scene where the Battle of Hogwarts is over and you just see characters lying everywhere, and characters that you've come to kind of know and love are dead on the ground. It was dramatic, but it wasn't overdone. So I found that to be quite good as well. So the acting I'd probably give like an 8 out of 10 because it was well done. Now I think probably the best thing about this film was the look of it. I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to prove that probably like a 9 out of 10. I mean, it looked awesome. The battle was awesome with all of the things happening. There were lots of great sort of epic panning scenes that they did with the cinematography where you get to see the battles at different part of the castles. I mean, the giant force field that they put up and the way that was done was really, really cool. The battle, I know some people thought maybe the battle with Harry and Voldemort could have been a little more, could have had a little more look to it. I can kind of agree with that. I would say still the battle between Dumbledore and Voldemort in the Ministry of Magic is probably the best kind of one-on-one battle that we see in the film. So I would definitely agree with that. Maybe a that might be a little bit weak, but that's kind of a mix of acting and sort of things there. But still, not bad. I mean, still, I enjoyed that ending. I mean, the look of the castle was destroyed. All the things that they did, all of that, special effects, all that kind of stuff was really well done. So like I said, probably a 9 out of 10 on that. Overall, maybe not my favorite of the Harry Potter movies, certainly high up there, and I think it was definitely a worthy end to the film. As a side note, I saw it in 2D. I really don't think 3D would have added much to this film. As you know, my views on 3D, I'm kind of lukewarm at best on 3D. So, if you're a big 3D fan, maybe go see it in 3D, or just, save the $2 or $3 and see it in 2D. So overall, good film. I enjoyed it. A few weaknesses here and there. Just as a side note, I noticed that in the States alone, it made, was it almost 170 million this weekend? So that's just ridiculous. I mean, I was looking up the stats online, and worldwide, it almost cracked the top 300 grossing films of all time in 2 days. So this film has potential to be huge. I would not be surprised if it passes like Return of the King, maybe even Titanic, as the second highest grossing film of all time. I really don't think it will pass Avatar, though. So you can see if I'm wrong. Maybe a couple weeks we can look and see if I am full of it. And yeah, so I enjoyed the film. Definitely go see it. And so say we all.